I'm going to be performing this oil change on a Subaru Forester Wilderness. But whether you have the Impreza, Crosstrek, Outback, Ascent, follow along, it's going to be the exact same steps. In fact, if all I showed you was the engine bay and underside of this Forester, you wouldn't know the difference because everything's going to be in the exact same places no matter which model you have. Same oil filter part number, same 17mm drain plug. The only thing that's going to change is how much oil you put in. I'm going to post a chart here that you can pause and have a look at to determine how much oil is going to go into your model. As well as of 2024, the newer model Crosstrek and Impreza and the 2025 Forester went with a 0W16 oil instead of the usual 0W20. And this is literally all you're going to need to get the job done. Maybe invest in some ramps and a wheel chock, especially if you have a lower car like the Impreza. I can get under my Forester, but I still like to use the ramps for added comfort. I'm going to quickly go over these checklist items one by one, but don't be discouraged if you don't have any of the items. Just go out and buy them. They don't cost much money, and honestly, the dealers are charging upwards near $80 US for an oil change right now. And if you can do it at home, it's going to cost you about $40, so that's half the amount. Over time, you're paying off these tools within the first couple oil changes, and then you're off to the races. First, you'll definitely need a ratchet with a 17mm socket, and that's to get the oil drain plug off. You might be able to get the filter off by hand, but if not, having a pair of channel locks or a dedicated filter removal tool on hand will be a good idea. Then you'll need a torque wrench, and that's to get the oil drain plug back on at the correct torque setting. Then an oil catch pan to collect the old oil, a filter, put in the new oil, some shop towels for cleanup, and definitely a pair of rubber gloves. And then of course the oil and filter. For oil, you can go with Mobil, Castrol, whatever you want. Just make sure it's full synthetic and 0W20 or, in those rare cases, 0W16. And ensure at the back, as long as your oil is saying that it's GF5 or 6 right here, then you know that it's meeting or exceeding Subaru standards. And you can go with a Fram aftermarket filter. I recommend going with OEM Subaru, and if you do, there's the part number there. They may differ with a 20A or a 10A at the end. They're all the same filter. Over time, those numbers change just because they redesigned the filter slightly for better performance, but it's always going to be the same filter with the same threading that you can use, so don't be scared if you get one that's slightly different at the end. As long as you gave them your make and model, they'll give you the right filter. And they'll also give you a crush washer for the drain plug to replace the old one. Step one, if you're using them, is to get the car up on the ramps. With the Wilderness, I got an extra 1-inch ground clearance and the additional 2-inch lift. So now with the ramps, I got plenty of room to work under. Parking brake is engaged, and I jam in a wheel chock for extra security. Pop the hood, remove the oil fill cap, and slightly loosen the oil filter a couple of turns. Ugh, that's not coming off by hand. That's why it's good to have this tool on hand. Even though we only hand tighten them when we install, with heat and combustion, these things tend to get tighter over time and impossible to get off by hand. Using a tool like this, you will damage the filter just a little bit, but don't worry, it's coming off anyways and going in the garbage. But if you did want to invest in an actual dedicated filter removal tool, it looks like this, attaches to your ratchet, and it makes easy work of loosening the filter. And like I said, just slightly, a couple of turns, and removing the oil cap. Together that allows more air pressure and your old oil will drain down a lot quicker. And call me paranoid, but even though I said to remove the fill cap, I still like to replace it and just have it sit lightly on top, just because God forbid if it was exposed and while I was under the car any kind of foreign object fell in there, that would be devastating. Now it's time to get under there and drain the old oil. If you have an old carpet or want to buy a $10 exterior rug, that's great to slide underneath, and then you got a smooth surface for working on. As well, it'll protect your driveway from any oil spills. Grab your ratchet with 17mm socket, slide your catch pan underneath, stick a shop towel in your pocket just in case, and crawl underneath. Having the outdoor rug really helps you slide underneath nicely, not scratching up your back. And you do not have to go far to reach the oil drain plug. It's right here. Some of you may just have an opening. With this Wilderness trim model, I've got a plastic cover over top. If like me you have this plastic cover, then all you're going to need to do is remove 4 plastic clips at each corner, and do not loosen the Phillips head screw right here. That stays in because this whole cover is going to swing on it out of the way. To get the clips off, you'll just need a flathead screwdriver. And all you're going to do is get underneath that first portion with the flathead and pop it out slightly, like so. And then grab a hold of that inner portion you just popped out with your fingers and pull it out. With the cover out of the way, we can get a good look at the drain plug. And with the catch pan underneath, we're going to go ahead and loosen the drain plug. With a 17mm socket, the drain plug shouldn't be too hard to loosen. You should be able to crack it loose by hand, like so, and then finish off without the ratchet, just unscrewing by hand, getting ready for the big surge. And then if you listened to me and had a shop towel in hand, you can wipe clean that drain plug. While the oil continues to drain, you can get the old washer off, finish up cleaning the drain plug, and get the new washer on. You'll see that there's a flat side to the washer, and then there's this contoured side. You want this flat side to go in first and butt up against the flat portion of the drain plug. Now it's time to swap out the old oil filter for a new one, and before removing the old one, have a look in and around the catch basin that surrounds the oil filter. Make sure there's no dirt or debris in there. If there is, give it a wipe clean with a shop towel. Then we'll go ahead and clean that whole area before putting on a new filter. Before we do that, take a little bit of the old oil on your fingertip. Doesn't have to be new oil, and just coat the rubber gasket of the new filter. You want to make sure this whole entire area is clean and clear of old oil, but most importantly, this polished ring here, make sure that's nice and clean, because that's where the new oil filter is going to mate with. Some people like to add some oil into the filter to prime it before installing. That really only works with side-mounted filters. This one here is inverted, so any oil I put in is just going to drip out. Having some oil lathered onto the gasket is good enough, and then you just install the new filter, tighty-righty. What you're going for here is hand tighten, never use a tool. I'll take my rubber glove off just to get some more friction and grip, and just hand tighten until you can't tighten anymore, and that's good enough. Now back underneath with the drain plug and another shop towel. Wipe down the mating surface of the drain plug. It's okay if it's still dripping slightly. You can insert the drain plug just the same. If you want to wait till this stops dripping, you might be here forever. If it's really bothering you, you can hold the shop towel up against the drip and a quick switch and bait. Get your drain plug in there and start threading by hand. Once you can't thread by hand anymore, switch over to the 17mm socket. And once that's feeling tight, finish off with the torque wrench. I'll attach a list of different torque specs based on model, but it's anywhere between 30 and 33 pounds for the Subarus. Swing back the cover if you had one and replace the 4 clips. And now it's time to get up top and put in a new oil. Insert the funnel. Refer to the chart that I displayed at the beginning of this video to know just how much oil to put into your specific model. But to be safe, I like to put 4 liters or 4 quarts into the reservoir, then back it off the ramps to a level surface and top up as necessary. The nice thing about these oil jugs are they have a window along the side that'll tell you just how much oil is left in the jug. Once you've got enough oil in the reservoir, remove the funnel, make sure to replace the fill cap, remove the wheel chock, and back the car off of the ramps. And now with the car off of the ramps and on a level surface, you can reinsert the funnel and continue adding oil until the manufacturer's specifications for your model. Now while my Subaru Forester calls for 4.2 liters, 4.4 quarts, it's almost impossible to get that exact amount. So the easiest way and the way I prefer is by using the oil dipstick. Now that I got my 4 liters in there, I'm going to continually add oil bit by bit, continually checking the dipstick. And I'm going to try and get to as close to the top mark as possible without going over. Now this only works if your engine has been sitting and not running for a little while. Make sure all that oil has drained out of the filter and is sitting in your reservoir, and you know you got a true measurement. And then if you're close to the top mark but not over, that's a great place to be. And here's a picture of exactly what that'll look like. You see the oil level is almost at the top mark, but not quite. I like to leave it a little bit back from the top mark, just in case, because you never really know if you're on completely level ground or not. So having that little bit of room before the top mark gives you a little bit of safety cushion. Well guys, I hope this video helped you get your oil change done on your Subaru, and if it did, let me know in the comments, especially if it was your first time ever doing an oil change yourself. I love reading the comments, I always make sure to reply, and hearing that my videos might help somebody really means a lot. And you can go one step further by hitting that subscribe button up top. That would be awesome. But even if you don't do that, you gotta watch the video down below where I show you how to permanently disable that annoying seatbelt alarm off your Subaru. And the one up top where I show you how to eliminate that frustrating auto start-stop feature. And I'll see you guys in the next video.